Candace Stewart, and it's my podcast, Trade Secrets. And I always say that I have this is my favorite person or one of my favorite people. I mean, all those things are true, but one of the people that I respect the most, who does the craft of engineering, and I don't know if I ever told you that I think that you're a really, really great engineer. And I don't think people realize how hard that is. So it's pretty unscripted. The main thing is, like I said, to shine a light on kind of how you got here so that young people can watch these and be completely confused and realize that they shouldn't go to school, or they should go to college, or they should have supportive parents, or maybe they should run away. There really is no answer. But where were you born?
I was born in a small little town called Washington, D.C.
Oh.
On a snowy winter night, as my dad would always tell me.
Oh, nice.
Where the car was sliding around on the way to the hospital.
Oh, man, your poor mom.
I know.
Right.
And but whatever it is, we got there. And
it worked out.
It worked out.
So you grew up in a suburb outside D.C.?
For I think a year or two, but I don't have a lot of memories from that time. But we ended up moving to Connecticut.
Oh, nice.
For a while, Ridgefield, right? Probably a little over an hour outside of the city. And then
that's pretty.
We crossed over into New York, Brewster area.
Oh,
which
cool. What did your dad do?
He was in advertising, and so I used to.
Was it like Mad Men, like in the 50s? Like your dad was like the badass guy?
Well, it was more in the 70s.
But he didn't cheat on your mom.
It was more in the 70s.
Okay.
And who knows about the cheating?
I doubt that. I'm sure he did. I'm sure your mother was beautiful.
Yeah, no, she was. And so it was 70s advertising, and what was really fun is, for me, I would bounce around to these color labs where this was back before digital. So,
right.
And they would have these machines that, sorry about that, the machines that would have these huge prints that they dip them in the different
My brother's
chemical.
a photographer, so I can imagine how cool that would have been to see that happening.
And then seeing these massive prints that would be going up on bus stops and Times Square and stuff like this, being sort of made and crafted and edited. The way they used to edit photos before Photoshop was by hand.
By hand, yeah.
I know.
What artistry, too, were billboards. And, I mean, things now are cool. Certainly I see amazing art, but, I mean, amazing, like, billboards. It wasn't, what's the word? It wasn't wrapped like it is now.
Right.
It wasn't plastic. It
Right.
was like, what did they silk screen, or how did they put the giant billboards up? I don't know. Paper.
Paper.
Paper
and panels, and they matched them, lined them up,
Right.
because they could only print so wide. And,
Right.
Or the whole thing would be hand painted.
Hand painted. Like, remember, you know how in front of Warner's in Burbank,
Yeah.
they always change those big ones? I remember when I first came here 40 years ago, they would be up there painting it.
Right.
Painting the picture, which is freaking crazy. So that's kind of cool. Do you remember the company that your dad, was it like Chiat Day or Daly and Associates? You and I ended up working with a lot of those companies.
Yeah, we did. Well, he was in the color lab part, but his clients were J. Walter Thompson, and just before Chiat Day existed.
So he was actually a creator, like a photographer.
Well, originally he was an artist.
Okay,
and
like a commercial
yeah,
artist.
and then he got into the sales of it. So companies would need things, and he'd be the liaison between.
Well, the cool thing is he had the technical knowledge to actually get done what needs. Kind of like Keith being a studio manager and being an engineer. Like, he actually understands what to do.
Right.
So in that sense, your dad was probably rare, because I'm sure the other sales guys didn't know what the fuck to do with the art.
Well, it was also the 70s, so we spent a lot of time in bars.
Yeah.
Long lunch times.
Dude, liquor and cigarette ads are the best ones.
I mean, it was like, it was a very interesting time, but was a lot like Mad Men.
What year were you born?
1961.
Okay, so I was born in 59, and I've started giving, and I'll get you one sometime. What month were you born?
February.
Okay. Aquarius?
Aquarius.
Okay. I started giving like old copies of Life magazine and Time magazine to friends, especially rich friends. Like, what do you get a friend of yours who's like a fucking billionaire? Like,
right.
So I'd find the Life from the week that they were born, and I have one in my office. And it shows the Mercury astronauts, and they're training them. And obviously they're floating upside down. So Keith and I flipped the picture so they anyway, it's upside down. But the liquor ads and the car ads, dude, the print ad work, it's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal and it was fun too.
Dude, it's super cool, super fun. So that's awesome. Was your mom? Did your mom work? Was
She eventually, 4 kids. So
Oh,
she was
Lord. Where do you fall in that order? I am one of 4 as well.
Yeah, I'm the second, oldest boy, second in
Okay.
command.
All right. Do you have any sisters?
I got an older sister, and the last one is a sister too. So
Okay.
it goes girl, boy, boy, girl.
Oh,
So,
okay. All
and,
right. Second in command. I may, first boy. Are you a junior?
no.
Oh. I'm the only girl with 3 brothers. Yeah, dude, looking back, like, how did they have 4 kids? How do you feed 4 kids?
No,
Clothes?
Oh my God.
House?
Get them places.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was a challenge, and eventually my mom started working as an executive assistant.
No, good for her.
After a while, and they got my
But pretty
grandma.
much New England. You grew up in New England.
Yeah, the Northeast, and my grandmother moved in with us, so that allowed my mom.
Dude, how cool is that? The Gramps, man.
Well, Grams was one of 9 kids, 8 sisters.
Tolerate nothing.
Italian.
Oh, I love it.
And so everybody wanted to eat at our house because.
But McCabe is like Scottish or something.
Yeah, well, that's from the other side of the family. But Irish Scottish.
Oh, Irish.
But the Longobardis, which my grandmother is from.
What was her name?
Longobardi was her maiden name.
Longobardi. That's
Yeah.
fucking cool. Was she first generation, or was she from Italy?
Her parents, she's first generation.
Okay.
Her parents were from Italy. And my great-great-grandfather, he would design his own instruments. He had his own patents on. He had a Longobardolina, which was a mandolin design
Very cool.
that he would handcraft it.
Do you have any?
My sister just got one, but the ones we had in our house.
Knock that bitch down and steal that fucker.
I know. I just found out that one of the other relatives sent it to her, but the ones we had in our house.
Longobardolina.
Lena, yeah, it was a mandolin. It was like a mandolin with his own sort of design and form to it.
Dude, can you imagine what it would be? I mean, we're getting off. We should go back to. We're supposed to go back to like when you're in elementary school and high school. We will. But can you imagine steaming and shaping wood to make an instrument
in the early 1900s?
People are like, well, how do you? What's the same with guitars now? But like, how do you make it? Well, you heat it.
Yeah.
You get it wet, and then you shape it.
And then you let it sit.
And let it sit. And the holes and the pores in the wood make it sound.
Reform, yeah.
Well, and they make it sound the way. They make it good.
Yeah.
As it were. They make it resonate.
Yeah, of course.
As it were. Probably not. So I'm sure someone makes instruments as well, listening to me going, oh my God.
By the way, how's my hair?
It's fabulous.
Oh, good.
It's very close. That's a sign of testosterone, babe. That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm saying. He's virile. So is our videographer, Nate. He also has a beautiful head of hair. I don't know what happened to me. But so elementary school, one of 4 kids. Were you a good student?
I was a good student in this. I was dyslexic, so I was.
Dude, and back then they almost didn't really know.
They didn't know. They didn't know at all.
They just give you shit when you put the number backwards.
I would try so hard. Well, to me, it wasn't numbers.
Letters.
It was more like letters, and I could read, but also my auditory hearing stuff, and the way I would translate it sometimes would get jumbled. And in English, every time I thought I wrote a really good paper, I'd get a really bad grade on it and stuff like that. But math, I could.
Wizard.
I could literally cut class and go in on test day and ace the test.
I did okay in math. I mean, I was good in school and I was smart when I was younger. I don't know what happened. I skipped the 11th grade, get the fuck out of there. But I was okay at math, but I was the opposite of you. I was English and stuff like that. Math was harder for me.
Right.
Calculus, fuck calculus. Fuck calculus. That's all I'm saying.
But you know how sexy? I'm going to turn off my ringer here. Sorry about that.
But music is math.
Music is math, and also math. If you know math, like I probably should have gone into math because there's so much cool shit you can figure
Yeah.
out, like how big the sun is, how
Right.
fast it's moving.
How fast is the rocket going?
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and I'm okay with numbers. Obviously, I
Yeah.
do a lot of semi-accounting, and I have a pretty good memory. Keith stepped out, but like I can remember what someone owes us to the cent.
yeah.
He owes us $307,000.14. You know what I mean? Like it'll be just shit stays in there. It's a little bit. I don't know what that is. It's definitely not a savant thing, but it's more like a photographic memory thing for me. If I see it, like with phone numbers, like my
Right.
whole career, now we have it's all in our phone. But forever and ever and ever, it was in here.
You knew dozens and dozens.
Oh, it's thousands.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know about thousands, but a lot.
Yeah.
And I can still remember, like, my parents', phone number when I was a kid. 766-3358.
When it was only 7, when it only...
No, it was 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but 803 is the area code. It was the area code in South Carolina. Now there's multiple, but it was 766-8358. There you go. Anyways, or 335. Oh, fuck, I just fucked it up. Maybe I don't remember it. So school, that would have made school hard for you. Were your parents, did they get what you were going through?
No, they didn't, and because they were both working,
Oh.
that it was just...
That must have been frustrating for you.
It was a little bit of suffering in certain ways, but books became my friend.
Of course.
That was my binge. I would binge. I would go to the library, bring home a book, and I would just sit in my room.
I'm a reader still.
Read. until-
I've always got two or
Yeah.
three books going.
Yeah, that was my escapism. That was my version of YouTube or my version of TikTok.
Right. Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day. My husband is very smart, but he didn't. He wasn't very academic. He jumped out of high school early. He quit.
Yeah.
And I was the opposite. I went to school for a long time, but for me, I was like, oh yeah, I should read you like the Odyssey and the Iliad. And he's like, what? And I go, well, the epic poems that explain the gods. And I go, and the difference between the two. And I started to really get into it because they're coming out with a movie of the Odyssey.
Oh.
And I said, well, the difference between the two is that the Odyssey is really the precursor, but the gods are more involved in human interaction. And I said, in the Iliad, it's more like fantastical and more like, and he was like, what? And I was like, oh yeah, never mind. I'm talking about Homer. You know what I mean? He's like, who the fuck is Homer? He's like, and he's not stupid. He just doesn't. That wasn't exposed to that. That wasn't something. And for us, like my parents were very, very intellectual.
Right.
Yeah. The dinner table was like, I remember I said to my dad like that I thought that the Bible was I had read the Hobbit like in 3rd or 4th grade, and then I said I think that the Bible is like a historical fantasy that was contributed to by about 3,000 different writers over millennia. My father goes, "That's an interesting idea." Like I didn't get in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were like, "Oh,
But it was South Carolina.
Charleston.
Oh,
Grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah, my mom is from North Carolina. My dad was from Ohio, one of 9. We happen to both be Welsh ancestry on both sides. My dad's parents were from Wales. My mom's grandparents were from Wales and Scotland. But maiden name is Smith, which people think is English, but it's actually Welsh as well. Smith, Jones, Green, Brown. Those are all Welsh names because no one can say the fucking Welsh name because it's like, the whatever the fuck. The Welsh is fucking crazy. But they met in Pasadena in 1948. She worked at the B of A on Green Street.
Wow.
Dude, they met February 2nd, got married March 4th.
What?
My brother was born December 28th.
Wow.
29th.
That was a bullet train. Wow.
1948, bro.
Dad,
Dad survived Normandy. Dad survived Normandy.
Right. So he knew.
So he was ready to.
It was like, yeah.
It was make life.
It was like,
Don't take life, make life.
Make
Let's
life.
make some life,
Yeah.
He was a very good guy. He became an electrical engineer, and then my brothers were all musicians, and I think you've probably met one or two of my brothers over the years, but they had a band in our hometown, and they came out to the record plant in the late 60s, early 70s.
Oh, my God.
Which is how I ended up doing this, because I would come out and visit. I wasn't going to do this at all. I was going to be a marriage counselor. I missed my calling. All you couples out there, so sorry.
There's still time.
But there was still time. But my dad supported them being musicians and would build a lot of their amps and stuff, and they toured around at like Navy bases. And
Wow.
stuff. But they all worked at the record plant, all 3 of them.
Wow.
I know.
And that was at a time.
Dude,
when
from 1969 and 1977.
they saw some shit.
Oh, dude.
They saw.
Well, I still work with Clink. Clink might come to, but like Nevison, I still talk to Ron.
Ron.
I met Jim Scott. I was 16.
Wow.
I'm 66.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time. But for you, I think I'm trying to remember where I first met you. I think it was Red Zone. I
It
don't
was
know.
Red Zone.
Yeah.
And then Soundcastle, right?
Yeah, and didn't you have Baby O for a while or had a room there?
Yeah, I did. That was but yeah, because I was thinking I've known you I think since '87.
Yeah, like almost 40 years. So
Yeah.
So I got to get back. It's back about you again. So
Okay.
you both of us dove into books. I was a super nerd. I was
Right.
super bookish. And I think, God bless.
Yeah.
I still love to read. And I think it's the greatest escape ever. And I think it's good for your brain
It is.
and your soul. So high school, music. Did you have music in your school? I've been querying this, and most everybody our age did.
Yeah, I wasn't involved in the music programs at the school.
I wasn't either.
Yeah, I didn't get a guitar until I didn't get a guitar until I was like almost somewhere around 14 and a half.
Did you know about your great-grandparents and about that connection to instruments at that time?
Yeah. And they gave my older sister a classical guitar and had her taking lessons.
What the fuck?
And then, let's wind back. Yard sale, I'm probably like 7 years old. My neighbors are selling the drum kit, and I was like, I want the drum kit. And they're like, I'm not going to listen to that racket.
Yeah, right.
And it was like,
what the F?
I totally like jacked out of my passion, like at a young age. I mean,
yeah, I don't know how my parents did it. Well, what they did was they set up a rehearsal in the garage.
yeah.
But it was my house. It was chronic.
We had three brothers.
Right, and the two older ones played. My oldest brother still plays guitar. He moved back to Charleston. He worked at, besides the record playing, you actually probably knew Rick. He worked at Design Effects for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
But he worked for Frank Zappa for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're getting ready to do an anniversary of Songs to the Key of Life. And both my older brother Rick and my second oldest brother Steve, they were the assistants on the album. And I would walk around high school because they had their photos.
Oh, they did?
I'd be like, that's my brother's.
Oh.
Like I was all proud.
Yeah.
No.
No.
But that kind of thing, I think you and I are a little bit younger, but I mean, no less great music. I mean, we lucked out. We grew up with the cool bands.
We grew up at a sweet time.
Total sweet time. I saw a T-shirt the other day that said I might be old, but I got to see all the cool bands.
Oh my God, that's an awesome shirt.
I'm gonna get it for you. It's fucking perfect, dude.
Yeah.
So the guitar. So she gets the classical guitar. She gets lessons.
I'm sidelined.
You're
I'm off the reservation. I'm like, wait your turn.
Quit making noise, Peter.
I know exactly. So meanwhile, I'm sitting there.
Clean your room and do your homework.
Well, thank God my parents, because it was such a great time of music, they had like Marvin Gaye records and the Beatles' White Album, and I would sit there with two croquet. What was that? The thing with the ball? Is that croquette?
Yeah, that's croquet. Croquet mallet.
I'd have two of these croquette sticks playing drums on the carpet.
Dude, Dave Grohl said he used to play pots, like upside down pots, and hit him with pencils. His parents were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Yeah,
I know. It was
you gotta do it. It's in there.
It was in there.
Yeah.
It was in there. So meanwhile, a little hiatus.
But drums, huh?
And it would have been.
Do you have a kit now?
I had a kit, and I do have a kit, and I lent it to my friends because I don't have a room anymore. But one of my kits got stolen.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, it was.
Well, if I had a cajon, I'd whip it out, and you could go to town.
Yeah.
But you said guitar, or no? Some guitar at some point?
Yeah, guitar somewhere around 14 and a half, 15-ish.
Because you're starting to realize that girls.
Well, no, I was just driven.
You're shy, but girls want to hear the guitar.
I didn't even connect that dot together right away, right?
Just lie and say you did.
Okay, I did. Well,
I wanted to get the chicks.
Well, within 1 year, when it was my 16th was coming up, I was able to get an electric guitar, and that's when all that started making more sense.
Yeah.
And also it's like, being a rock star looks like a good way to go.
That looks fun.
If you're going to do something,
be the best.
Be the best. And so I got an Edison Les Paul copy, and it was a Japanese Les Paul knockoff that they spelled Edison just like Gibson.
Right.
And it was a gold thing.
With the same font?
Same font.
Oh, that's funny.
Same font. and the pickups were like terrible. So I got DiMarzio's for it, and then it sounded real, and it had a bolt-on neck. And I wish I had kept that guitar because it was.
Well, it definitely would be vintage now.
It would be way vintage,
You know?
and it was like first generation of knockoffs.
You went to the Les Paul Foundation studio,
Oh my God!
right?
How cool is that? How
Dude,
cool is that?
There's more guitars coming.
There
Tom
is.
is going to come back tonight. Tom Camus, my friend you met, who runs
Okay.
that. But there's some more of Les's guitars have been added over there and stuff like that. And when you look at the really early ones, they're like boat anchors, man. They're like
I know.
they're not pristine like we think. I mean,
Right.
they're cool. Don't get me wrong. They're awesome, but they're pretty basic in their structure.
Yeah.
When you look at the ones from the 20s and the 30s,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this is a wooden box.
This is
a plank.
exactly.
Yeah,
This
you
is
know, like the cigar box.
This
You know,
is
thing.
early iterations.
Yeah, you know, like okay, there was a broomstick with string, but not really. But you know what I mean. Like you get where it all came from. But I think, God bless everybody. I would like to say right now, across the blanket, anyone who ever created an instrument, who cared enough about music to build something cool and to put their heart and soul in it, we thank you and we stand on your fucking shoulders. Is all I'm saying.
We do.
And then it gets into the technology of recording that, because what I always like to say, nobody would hear it if we didn't record it. I mean, they'd hear it live,
Live.
but that'd be it.
It'd be a moment.
That's right. It'd be gone.
Yeah.
So you got the electric guitar. You're 16.
And
You're rocking it.
I'm rocking it.
Yeah.
I look like Peter Frampton.
I
back
bet
then.
you did. He's coming in this weekend.
He is.
I know.
Oh, he's so
He's going to do a
great.
Tom Petty tribute thing.
Oh.
Do you remember the first song you learned on guitar? Or some of them are early ones.
Of course,
Beatles.
Of course, I'm in not Spinal Tap. I'm in oh my God, Wayne's World,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm learning Stairway
White
to Heaven.
Stallions. Oh, yeah. What were they called? Something Stallions or whatever. What was they fucking called in Wayne's World? I don't know. Anyway, fucking, yeah.
By the way, there's a new Spinal Tap coming out.
Yes, I know. CJ Vampson has been working on all of that. Great producer, great musician.
That's going to be great.
be
I can't
awesome.
wait. I know.
So
yeah,
Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven. So okay, so basically,
So you're 16 in 1975. No, you're younger than me. So 1978,
so yeah,
77, 78.
77.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
77.
Do the math. That's right, Candace.
Yeah.
61. Okay.
Yeah.
61 to 77. Got it.
See, you're good now.
I was barely. Okay, so Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah. Okay. So rewind a little bit. So making my own money, I went and bought 2 records. Besides the ones my parents were getting.
How'd you make money? Mowing lawns, babysitting, allowance,
Paper route, mowing lawns. But I had a paper route before I was even allowed to have a paper route
Yeah.
because my friends' brothers didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, and then they just give you the money. You go because who wants to get up at 4 a.m.? Fuck that.
Well, it wasn't a 4 a.m. It was deliver after in the afternoon.
Oh, what?
Yeah, this was
I
like
had to get up really fucking early
on my bike. Well,
with a basket.
on my bike with
the
the
fucking
basket,
papers.
and
And you're always getting bitched at because it starts raining.
I starts
and the
raining
old,
and
the old,
snowing.
And the
I was
old lady on the
northeast.
corner's pitch because the paper gets wet.
or it's snowing and your bicycle's not going to make it through the foot of snow, and they get angry and I get like no tip or a 10-cent tip. Or some awful
Mrs. Bartolino, whatever, on the corner is yelling at Peter. Going, my newspaper's wet.
Yeah, those are my earlier jobs. My later jobs was caddying right around that.
Yeah,
around
baby.
That. We lived close enough to a golf course that I would.
I lived right by a municipal golf course growing up.
Yeah, and so
We had alligators on our golf course.
Really?
Well, Charleston. Yeah,
I
they're
guess-
everywhere. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
But especially on the golf course.
I know. Well,
Yeah.
you get really scary when you find out how fast it can run.
They can't. They just don't want us.
They don't-
I will
I know.
preface it with they don't. They don't really want us. Yeah. You know. They're we don't. Yeah. But I do see pictures of people. I was telling Keith the other day, people like hitting them or something. It's like, yeah, don't hit it.
Don't.
Leave it alone.
I know.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Let it do its thing.
Yeah, let it lay in the sun.
He's been here thousands and tens of thousands of years.
I've told this story so many times, but Brian goes back with me, and we're probably going to retire there. And we went to Trader Joe's a couple years ago in Mount Pleasant in South Carolina, and there was a big alligator in the parking lot. And he was like he was just laying in the parking lot. And I parked probably 6 feet away from him. And Brian goes, I think we should move the car. And I go, it's fine. And he goes, is he going to eat our tire? And I go, no. Why would he eat our tire?
Ew.
And he goes, well, I mean, is he going to, I go, he's fine.
He's,
I go, leave him alone. He's sleeping in the sun.
he's enjoying the sun.
Yeah, he's just basking in the sun.
Yeah,
He's not doing. I said he's waiting for people to come out and drop a sandwich. I said he's not doing anything, or he's waiting for little dogs. You know what I mean? So, but that was funny because they're just literally everywhere. But for you, we got the snow.
We got
So
snow,
yeah, which is it's beautiful, but I don't like the cold.
Yeah, no.
How about you? Lived in California a long time now, both of us.
I came out in '86.
I came out right in '84.
And I thought I was going to I told everyone, I'm going out for a few months.
Dude.
And I didn't even know how long I was out here until Wells Fargo started putting member cents on my car. Because I'd go back east and people would be like, how long you been out there for? A year and a half. And they'd,
6
no,
years.
way longer than that. You're right. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, I've been in California, 5 years, 6 years.
I'm skipping all around, but so we're school, we're 16, you're playing guitar, we'll do that, but college
was not
in your plan.
Yes, well, no, I
Let's go high school. Let's go high school to college. Let's see what happens there.
Okay, so high school
To college age.
High school, I was a bit into the music and the weed.
Oh yeah.
And that was the era.
I did lots of drugs.
Yeah, lots of drugs. Don't do drugs.
Give them to me.
Save your money.
Yeah, give me the drugs.
Yeah, exactly. So I skipped so many classes my senior year.
Dude, me too.
That they told me that even if I got straight A's, they wouldn't be able to graduate because I didn't have the hours.
Dude, they told me that shit too, but then I got a special extra credit on a final exam the day of graduation. I was skin of my teeth. I'd cut like 68 days, and they were like, okay, you have to make like an A, and this was algebra. I did extra credit, made 110 on the test.
See,
Fucking skin of my teeth,
they
dude.
didn't even give me that plan.
South Carolina schools were not as good as
No.
schools in Connecticut at that time. They're better now.
Well, this
but
was
yeah.
this was New York, and
Much better schools.
But Chappaqua, in fact, and they told me that I could take the GED and they would allow me to graduate with the class.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And so,
Well, fuck it, that's good.
Yeah, I had 6 weeks of a senior year or something, or 8 weeks.
Wait a minute, this whole sounds really awesome.
And then I went in.
Wait, I don't have to go, but I still get to graduate the class.
And I did so well in my GED that I was actually allowed to take more college courses than my friend who was a smart kid,
Yeah.
So, but it was like, what do you go to school for when you want to do music? Well,
Yeah.
music school, I went to Purchase, and just because everyone's like, you got to go to school.
Right.
And I didn't have any plan to be in that school, so I was taking business courses or
And they
account
didn't
classes.
have schools it never had a school for what I do.
No.
And they don't have a school. I mean, they do now, but they didn't have engineering schools. Not really.
Not at all. And so I basically
Recording engineering.
I basically, was there for maybe 6 weeks and kept on being like, not interested in this class, stop taking it. And then I
Yeah, I get terribly bored
yeah.
or just want to go party
Yeah.
and don't want to go to school.
So I ended up, I divorced parents at this point, and my dad lived in the city. It was okay because,
It was Mad Men.
it was Mad Men. It was that era.
Yeah.
It was, in hindsight, it was actually great because we had the best of New York City, and we had, an hour and up in country.
So mom stayed in country? Or?
Yeah, mom stayed in the country initially
Nice.
for a while. And so, we're walking, me and my brother are going to Coney Island when we're like 12 and 10 years old
So
by
fun.
ourselves on
Yeah.
subways, which was
Oh,
like
yeah.
going in the amusement park there.
Oh,
which
dude,
was like
I would leave in the
insanity.
morning and come back at dark.
I know. Like,
Yeah, they didn't ask what you were
It was
doing.
a little loose.
I think in some ways, though, that kids are overly. I mean, granted, there was always creepy people around. There was
Right.
always people around that were going to
Right.
mess with kids, but there's definitely It's definitely worse now. It's definitely more dangerous now. But I would not want to be monitored. I mean, first of all, if I'd have been monitored, I'd probably be in jail. You know what I mean? Like, especially like in high school and college, I'd be like, ooh, I don't know. I'm glad I wasn't monitored.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah,
It's
you know what I mean? Sneaking out at night, crawling out the window, sliding down the roof. I look at my parents' house now. I go back occasionally and I see it. And the second story window that I called out of on a deep slant, I would slide out of the window, walk over onto the garage, and jump down. I'm like,
What were
I don't
you
know. I
thinking?
didn't break my
I know,
neck.
Exactly. I know. I go back and be like, what were we thinking?
Dude.
It's like, dude.
Oh, and tripping and driving.
Oh
you know.
my God.
Whoops, sorry.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
I've had those nights where it's like,
dude.
how did I get here?
Okay, it's a great story. Want a story or a cool story?
Yeah.
So it's really about Peter, but I'm going to take over because that's what I do. So I was going to college of Charleston. I got out of high school really early, and I started college at like 17. And I would start and stop, kind of like you. I'd start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. Right. So I'm back in. I'm like 19. And I'm tripping, and I go out to Folly Beach, which is a beach I grew up on this island called James Island, and Folly Beach is at the end of the beach. I go out to the beach to see some friends. I drop some acid. I'm driving back. I live downtown by school. It's about like, I don't know, 13 miles from 10 miles, whatever. And but it's very dark. It's a very small, narrow road, one lane each way, marsh, you know. And so I'm leaving the beach, and I'm really starting to trip. So I pull over, and there's really nowhere to pull over. It's like lane and like little bit of grass and water, right? And so I pull over. I'm kind of tripping out. This car had this Plymouth Fury 3, this like the old NARC car, remember this, right? And I'm looking out the window, and it's super peaceful, you know, looking at the stars. I'm tripping out. And then a cop pulls up behind me.
Oh my God.
And he goes, Miss, are you okay? And I go, yeah, I'm fine. I said, I just got off a shift at the restaurant on Folly. And he said, oh, you go to college of Charleston? I said, yeah. I said, I was just real tired. I did a double today. I just pulled over for a second. I said, but yeah, I'm gonna head home now. And I said, what time is it? And he goes, it's 11:30 at night. I had pulled over at 8:15. Dude, it felt like it was 15 minutes. Like I thought that I had just pulled over. I had been there for 3 fucking hours, staring out the window, looking at the stars, tripping balls, listening to the fucking creatures in the marsh. You know what I mean? I'm just like hanging out.
You know?
But I mean, I was all right. I drove home and I was fine. Obviously, I'm sitting here, but he didn't mess with me. You know, I mean, my pupils would probably look like fucking saucers, but it was dark, and he didn't like shine a light in my eye or nothing. It wasn't aggressive or anything like that. He just wanted to make sure I was okay, that my car wasn't broken down.
Right.
So, and he said, "Are you good? Are you good?" I said, "Yeah, I'm good. I got some rest, and I'm okay now." So. But he had to be behind me. There was nowhere. He had to follow me because it was a one-lane road. So until I got to like a turnoff about 4 miles away, he was behind me. So.
Oh my God!
So that and you're tripping, so you're freaking out.
Oh my God! I know. We're probably driving like 3 miles an hour.
Like driving like 2 miles an hour. I'm fine. I'm fine. You know, but I know that drugs are bad, and I don't want people to do drugs, but I wouldn't change the experiences I had for anything. No. I really wouldn't. I'm fine, and I think certain things open up your mind, and I'm good, and I don't need to do that now, and I'm fine. I wouldn't do it now, but I mean, I it was cool.
Yeah,
I really get into my records, man. I'd sit in my room and listen to my records, and I would dive deep
over and over and over again.
Dude, Dark Side of the Moon. You just be like, the room is breathing.
I know.
You know what I mean? You're just like hyperventilating. But this is the most I've talked about that kind of experience so far on the podcast.
All
but,
right, I'm glad
you brought that out of me. Well, I think it's because we're so close in age.
Yeah.
But yet again, this is about Peter. So let's get back to Peter. So, GED, get the high school diploma, do purchase, take some business courses, get bored with that.
But in the meantime,
Did you have a band?
Well, a friend of mine named Burry Jenkins. He's still playing guitar.
Burry
Jenkins.
What a great name.
I know, and he looked like
Murray with a B.
Burry, i.e.
Oh, okay.
Burris Jenkins.
Interesting. I had a friend named Clovis. That's the names that we had.
It comes from English parents, but his dad was Andrew Jenkins, and he was part of a company called Jenkins Covington, and Jenkins Covington made huge commercials.
Oh, okay.
And so Burry had gone to private schools, and I had met him
posh.
through a friend. But we both had passion of guitar together, and we learned how to create our own music because we couldn't play other people's song for shit. So we learned how to make our own music. And so, well, the beautiful thing about that was that whole scene was his dad would go out of town for sometimes weeks on end to California.
Isn't it the best when your parents went out of town when you were in high school?
And there was no mom there, but they had a maid that would come in and clean and make food and leave at 6 o'clock at night.
We love her.
And they
teenager's dream.
And they had this modern house that the father designed with like 25-foot glass
vaulted,
with a view of sunset, western view of sunset, with no houses in its view at all.
Beautiful. And
the living room was set up to be this amazing experience place, and we'd bring in the Marshall amps that we had and our guitars in there, and we'd invite drummers and other musicians to come, and we'd have these jam sessions. And their dad had a Tamberg, I think it was a Tamberg reel-to-reel recorder, but it had a function called Sound on Sound. And that was my first sort of connection to
So it's a two-track, but you like a 1/4-inch reel-to-reel?
Yeah, and you could be bouncing, you could be adding more audio into the microphone inputs, and then also what's on the other one of the tracks could be being merged together. You didn't really have I don't remember the mixing capabilities of it.
Right.
It was more like you just had to kind of how they had to do records in the old days.
Yeah. You direct to 2-track, figure it out,
and then bounce it. While you're recording more to the other 2-track.
Interesting.
So we had all these great players because they're in these bands that only played cover songs, but we were playing original shit. So we had all these. We had some great musicians they loved us because we
great house.
Great,
the maid makes the food.
We had food.
Yeah, and chicks are coming.
And chicks are know, and so that was that whole era. So that was way more interesting to me than following my college sort of pursuits.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure there was like, did you like play a little circuit? Or did you play any kind of like local clubs?
We did some clubs. Our issue was we didn't sing. Burry and we didn't sing. He sings now, but we did not sing, and so we never had a great singer. And if we had gotten a great singer, we could have been the next generation. Like we could have been like a Fish type band.
Oh, interesting.
Because we kind of had the Zappa Zeppelin sort of.
So we have a prog jam band.
Prog jam band that would go off into these.
This sounds like a semi-nightmare, although the only real jam bands that I like, and I'm just that much older than you with the older siblings, that for me, growing up in the South, the Allman Brothers.
The Allman Brothers are amazing.
Amazing, right? And I love that, or like Derek and the Dominos, I love that. Newer bands that I like Porcupine Tree a lot and stuff like that. Not a huge Fish or Humphreys McGee fan, but, jam, it depends. Like, and I'm not a Grateful Dead fan. Well, it's not really my thing.
If you had seen them...
Yeah, I probably would have dug it. Terrapin Station, I thought was a good record.
Terrapin Station was an amazing record. And I saw that tour in Englishtown, and we had to walk like 6 miles to the venue.
Wow.
It was like the biggest concert since Woodstock.
Wow.
And it was insanity, but it was like a 12-hour show, and they had New Riders of the Purple Sage and some other band open up for him. I can't remember the other band.
I was super British Invasion. Obviously, we all were, Zeppelin, Stones, Beatles, etc. I love the Kinks.
Yeah.
And then later, obviously, the Clash.
Right.
And then I had a little weird phase where it was sort of like the whole ska thing, like the Selector and Madness and the Specials and the Stranglers, and stuff like that. And I still like that kind of music as well. But for the older siblings, and you with an older sister, even just that much, they could be 2 years older and be turning you on to stuff.
Right.
So it would be like Janis Joplin or Hendrix or
Hendrix.
When I first heard Hendrix, that was like mine. I'm still to this day. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. I love Hendrix.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, and Hendrix. So Hendrix, one of the most amazing experience for me, which is going to sound weird, but I got a Hendrix bootleg because I was totally into Hendrix.
Yeah.
And it was just mind-blowing. And a bunch of those musicians. But he must have been really high, and he was playing so many bad notes that it actually gave me hope to continue trying to
Like,
be a
I could be
musician.
okay.
It's like, oh, he's got a bad day.
Right,
Like-
right. Or like Jimmy Page could get pretty sloppy too.
Billy Page too, like,
saying.
and I've seen him live. I saw him back. I saw Led Zeppelin twice.
I did too.
At Madison
Yeah,
Square
yeah.
Garden.
I lived in Virginia Beach, Virginia for a minute
Yeah.
from like 3rd grade to 6th grade. So I went to Hampton Roads, was a big Hampton Roads
Big.
Coliseum. So I saw the Stones, I saw Zeppelin, I saw Bowie. Yeah. The Kinks, man, the Kinks fucked up. The Kinks got busted early and could never tour the States after 1965. It was a drag because I'm a huge, and then I saw the Kinks later, but I'm a huge Kinks fan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's funny that you said that about Hendrix because, yeah, some of those bootlegs were horrible.
I know, but it was still, to me, Zeppelin bootlegs.
He's a regular guy.
I know. It's like, holy shit. There's hope. I can still get it together.
That's so funny. So when did you, how old were you when you came to L.A.?
Well,
And what was that?
wait. So there's a big.
What's the big in-betweener?
Okay, the big in-betweener. So basically, Burry and I, if drugs hadn't, he got into some stuff and was doing it regularly. Not bad drugs, not like heroin or anything like that. But
Heroin's a good drug.
well, it is, with the right.
I mean, come on, don't bag on
with the right crowd. Anyway,
drugs in moderation is what we're talking about here.
That's
We're not
right.
talking about addiction where it ruins your life and you don't pay rent and you can't go to school.
yeah. So I actually got into the city. I was living in the city, and I got a rehearsal room in a place called the Music Building. And the Music Building was on 8th Avenue between 38th and 39th Street.
I know exactly where that is.
2 blocks down from the Port Authority.
Yeah.
And it was really seedy back then. This was early 80s. This was
Yeah.
1980.
2 Times Square was sketch.
Oh, it was literally,
Super sketch.
it's super, you wouldn't want to, yeah, it was super.
Don't walk down the street by yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Late. Yeah.
Don't go into the theaters.
Dude, they were so sketch.
So sketch.
I had a rat run across my foot in a theater at Times
yeah.
Square.
But 80s in New York was an amazing time.
I agree.
And the English invasion was happening. And so my music studio, I was on the 7th floor, 702. And
That's cool.
my neighbor well, some of the tenants of the building, one of them, everybody should know who it is, called Madonna. She used to starve, and she was starving in the building like all of us.
Miss Ciccone.
She would sit in the lobby with a Casio battery-powered keyboard and a Dr. Rhythm 66 battery-powered drum machine-ish thing. It wasn't even a drum machine.
Yeah.
And she would just sit there working on tracks because she didn't really have access to a room full time. And so, but we were all like in this place, but it was 24/7, make as loud and much noise as you want.
And probably really cheap.
Yes,
cheap lease.
yeah. And it was, but no hot water, no showers.
Yeah. You didn't live in the rehearsal studio,
We
did you?
did. We did.
Oh, yeah, most people did. I have friends who do
yeah,
that now.
no, Madonna was, sleeping in the hallways at times, so
Yeah.
she's,
She paid her dues.
She paid her dues, man.
She's recorded here many times and with Pat Leonard, and she was always super cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
No, she was great. And I remember the first time she dyed her hair blonde. We'd both been at a Susie and the Banshee show
Dude, I love them.
at Bond's Theater in Times Square. And we ran into her there. And then the next day, Susie had bleach blonde hair. And the next day, Madonna has
Bleach blonde hair.
And I said, just like Susie. And she goes, I'm not like anybody. She totally rips into me.
Good for her.
Yeah, she totally was like,
Good for
she
her.
stood her and,
I love that little Italian girl.
Italian
I'm
little
going to do my
fire.
thing, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, she certainly is nobody like her. That's for sure.
and so
What a performer.
So that's building we had T.M. Stevens. I don't know if people know who he is. He was this amazing bass player. He played with everyone from John McLaughlin
Oh, dude.
to Cyndi Lauper to
I was just about to say Cyndi Lauper. Love her.
Yeah, and he was just like when he moved in, and Steve Smith, I think, was on drums.
That's my brother's name.
Steve
But yeah,
Smith.
Steve Smith from Journey.
Yeah,
That's who is that who you're talking about?
well, no,
Was the drummer from
Tony
Journey?
Smith.
Tony Smith.
Not
Okay.
not from Journey.
Yeah.
And then this Japanese guitar player named Yoshiaki Misuo. And one day we hear this fucking massive noise coming from above us because they were the room right above me. And we go upstairs and we have to knock on the door because it sounds like the most insane thing we ever heard. We knock on the door and one guy's in the room and it's this guy.
Yoshi?
No, this was T.M. Stevens, this big black guy. And he was playing, like he was so filling up so many sound functions, rhythm and melody and bass all at once by himself. And it was just like, it was mind-blowing. But then we'd hear, him and Tony and Yoshiaki Masuo, who played with Sonny Rollins.
Right.
Sonny used him as instead of a keyboard player because he could change chords like nobody's business.
Interesting.
And he was like one of Japan's most famous jazz guitar players.
Okay, cool.
And just having them above us, and every once in a while we'd get to jam, and we'd go from totally like shit to like being amazing.
Dude, collaboration is key.
Yeah, we got leveled up.
Yeah.
When you're playing with people that like are so
you can't. You got to get it together.
It
inspires you.
It inspires you, but and you just get sucked into this journey when people are so together and so amazing. So I had many years, 5 years there.
Oh wow.
And then I came out to go to.
And were you at that time, besides playing, were you like the guy that was set like, hey Peter, capture this?
Okay, yeah.
Did that become your gig?
Okay, well, yeah. So eventually,
like Burry would be like, "Hey, Peter, record this shit."
Well, yeah. If Burry had come to New York, he would have been. But no. So my first big recording moment was I had a Tascam 4-track.
Oh yeah.
And there was a band called the Flesh Tones.
Oh yeah.
And
I remember them.
And we recorded a demo for them on this 4-track in the room. And that was my foray into kind of real multi-track.
Interesting. And that was that cool thing. I had a Fostix, I think, and I used it as a preamp. Yeah. But it was an 8-track. It was an 8-track cassette recorder.
Right. Yes, it came
like
out
a
with
cassette.
It came out. That was like a step up.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
but yeah. So it was a 4-track, and then it was an 8-track TAC reel to reel.
Oh, okay.
But still, like low end stuff, but it was 8 tracks now, and that was a game changer. And
dude, how about that Octopus over at the Les Paul room? The first 8-track.
Oh my God.
The first 8-track Ampex.
Well, not only does that room blow my mind, but he built in automation to arm the machine from the console.
Yeah, he's got to play guitar
before he
right.
Before.
So his arm. Remember, his arm was messed
yeah.
up. So his arm is messed up. We're talking about Les Paul. His arm is like kind of set in place right after he breaks it. He's got going directly into channel 1 into the console
right.
from the guitar.
Right.
Right. And doing all of that at the same because doing all his own shit. But yeah. Arming the tape machine.
Yeah. No, I mean that and transport from the console. It took SSL. They're the ones who figured, oh, that's a good idea. But Les Paul had figured that out 25 years earlier.
Yeah, no,
30 years earlier.
Yeah, we owe you a lot, Les.
And
we are grateful to
Les, on so many levels.
So you're in 702. I'm going to call it 702. Did you call it 702?
Yeah.
Okay, so 702. And
584 8th Avenue, room 702.
I know exactly actually where that area is.
We had the doors painted red.
Nice. Yeah, it's a big X.
And by the way, at rush hour from like 6 p.m. to like midnight, 1 a.m., you had 10 floors of 6 rooms of studios, and you'd have so there'd be nights where there'd probably 60 bands playing at once.
And I'm not guessing a lot of isolation.
Well, the room, thank God, if you were in the hallways, or in the summer times, you had these big windows, because it was a sweatshop factory. The windows would open up. Nobody had air conditioning.
Yeah.
And so it'd be bouncing, the sound from all these bands would be bouncing off the building.
And the South had these big windows, and we open them from the top down so that the heat goes, but big, like
big.
A 10-foot window.
Just giant. And everybody's sound be bouncing off the windows, but you're playing loud enough.
You don't care.
You're not hearing it until you're not.
You just hear your own shit.
I know. Exactly.
What kind of amp did you have?
I had an old Marshall Plexi, and I had 2 Marshalls and a slightly newer both 50 watters.
I was gonna say, what size speaker, or how big or how loud?
412s and cabinets,
50 watts is loud.
and the
that's loud.
The Plexi. Well, yeah, it wasn't really about being loud. Like I understood dynamics, but some people, my bandmate who played a twin just didn't understand.
It would distort.
He'd put like not even earplugs. He'd put like tissue paper in his ears
and then crank it.
And crank it.
Yeah,
It's like,
people do that all the time.
Dude.
Yeah, take the things out of your ear and turn it down.
Turn it down.
Yeah, I know. I say this all the time. You're going to meet a friend of mine tonight. I'm going to talk about you, Tom. You're going to meet my friend Tom tonight, who's great. He's a mastering engineer. He's a really dear friend of mine. And I've known him for like 15 years, right? And I realize that whenever I say anything to him, he always says what? And I have to repeat it. And about a year ago, I realized he's constantly wearing earplugs. And I'm like, dude, take the fucking earplugs out so I don't have to scream at you. And so I could talk to you. And he goes, I have to protect my ears.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, dude.
It's conversation.
Dude, we're talking.
I know,
take.
Yeah.
Because it's super frustrating. Keith, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you have to keep repeating everything you say to him. And then I'm like, dude. To take the thing out.
or tell him to get tonight.
Get a hearing aid. Let's fuck with him.
Or get less dB reduction.
No, you know what would be fun? I'll introduce you to him tonight, and we'll both look at each other, and I'll go.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
I just act like I'm talking.
Let's do that.
And he'll go, what? And I'll go.
We're doing that for sure. That's good.
I like to fuck with people.
I do
it's fun.
too. I know.
It's
you
fun.
know.
So 702. So
702 was great. So I had.
All right, I haven't asked an important question. Parents are divorced, stuff like that. Brothers and sisters, everybody loves each other. Family's good, everything's fine. Peter's left home now. He's doing his thing in New York. Did they think you were nuts? Were they supportive? Were they proud of you? Was there any kind of like, go for it?
You know,
we don't really need the support of our parents. I left home early and it was fine. They were great. But yeah, you didn't really need the.
Well, no. They weren't absolutely supportive because they're like, oh, you know.
Be a lawyer. Be a doctor.
Yeah, go to school and just
Get
have
a career.
something to fall back on.
There's always the fallback thing.
I know.
It's the plan B. It was the plan B. There is no plan B.
I know. It's like, burn the boats.
I think we're
burned the boats.
Dude, I think we're living the plan B.
We are. Well, exactly. I know. And some.
But yeah, that fallback thing. I don't know, but all of our parents must have heard that somewhere because that was a common sentence.
That was
from
it.
all of them.
I know. And of course, my sister, when they got me an electric guitar when I was 16, my older sister, she's like, you're going to regret getting in that guitar because I don't know how she knew that, like, the route
now he's just going to fuck off and play guitar.
Musician, it was a bad one. I mean, I don't know where she got that information. It wasn't internet back then. It wasn't like, it wasn't like she was reading Cream magazine.
She probably had a crush on a guitar player.
Yeah, maybe. But she did turn me on to David Bowie. So.
Dude, the best. So I love this. So, yeah, I mean, again, this is I don't know. Like I said to you earlier, I'm sure I give mixed messages because I'm like, you want your parents' support. You don't need your parents' support. You know what I mean? It's like, just do your thing.
Yeah, no.
Don't worry about other people.
And it's great if you do get it. And,
of course.
And
that would be desirable.
Yeah.
But
and they try to sort of.
They do what they think is right.
They try to support it in a way, but they always then had. But this.
They're just worried. They're just worried that you're going to be back at home eating their food.
Yeah. Well, right? There you go. Right.
I think probably when I look back on it, it's like, okay.
We're never going to be empty nesters.
You're gone now, so just stay gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Since you could tell I'm not a parent. You know what I mean? I think I had a dream. I told Keith I had a dream when I was in my late 30s. I said I had a dream that there was like a baby in a high chair. And in my dream, I left and came back 3 days later. And I'm like, aren't you done yet? Like, what the fuck? You're not done with your food yet? Like, this is my maternal dream. Right. You're like, get the fuck out of here. Why are you still there? Yeah, that's terrible. This is I'm a bad person on this podcast, apparently. I'm a bad mom.
Well, you know what? You're a badass. You just own it.
Yeah, there you go.
You own it.
It worked out. Okay, I didn't have kids, and the world's better for it. But my staff is like my kids, so
you've had plenty of.
Yeah. I don't know. Me shaping young minds, also a scary thought. But 702. I wish I had gone to 702.
Oh my God, it would
have been so fun.
You would have loved it. It was. And by the way, there was fiberglass and then some fabric over it on the walls, and the fiberglass was laid horizontally, so sometimes you would see movement behind some rat running across.
Oh, yeah.
Across through the fiberglass.
Oh, yeah.
Through the fabric.
Probably not something the rat does twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The rat learns quickly that the fiberglass sucks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then he starts hearing that music, and he's like, well, this is not a good building.
Dude, why was there were there were so many rats in New York and in Times Square. I'm not kidding you. One ran across my foot in the theater. It was outrageous.
I know.
And like this.
Big. No, they were.
Dude, Charleston has the same kind of wharf rats. I think
Right.
it's because you're by the water.
Yeah.
And you got those big mamma jammas.
Yeah.
I hit one time. I hit one time in Charleston. I'll never forget this. And I thought, oh, I hit a cat. Like, oh shit. And I stopped and I went back and it was a fucking rat. And I drove right back over it. I'm like, fuck you.
You backed out. You reversed.
You know, sorry, rats.
Sorry, rats.
Rats had their place too. But,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't want to deal with this.
Yeah, I feel you. You know.
But so rats, fiberglass, rock and roll.
Okay, and so during this time, I had friends that worked at Studio 54. I had friends that worked at the
Nice.
Ritz Club, which was the Ritz Club was the first
I've been to
video.
the Ritz.
The first video club.
I was at the Ritz.
in
The Limelight.
The Limelight. A friend of mine opened up Area with Eric Good.
You will know the answer to this. What was the... Because I remembered I'd come out from L.A. and I remember going to the Limelight and... What was that building like? Had it been
was
like
a church.
It was a church, right?
Yeah.
I told somebody
Yeah,
that it was a church.
I felt really dirty.
Yeah.
Going to that place and doing drugs.
Oh,
and being,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the
But what a
debauchery.
great club and
It
had
was-
great acoustics.
Yeah, it was a church. It was a church, and
Dude, I saw a lot of stuff there. I did a lot of crazy stuff there.
so my friend he was one of the first video DJs
At the
before
Ritz?
before there was MTV at the Ritz.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
He was
Very cool club.
and so we had Prince when he
I
played.
didn't go to CBGB's though, I don't think. Maybe once.
CBGB's. You missed out.
I don't know if I went or not.
It was.
I don't remember.
CBGB's is one of those places, like if you go to the bathroom or even the floors, everything was sticky and
Gross.
nasty. But
But then Iggy Pop would come out.
yeah, and you know,
Or MC5
but
would come
it was
out.
like, of course it should be that.
Yeah.
You know, like
it should be
like,
funky.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mind dive bar. Give me a good dive bar. I'm down.
But so Prince, his first gig ever in New York, he did first night at a club. Oh my God! Right off of not Washington Square Park, right at 14th Street. What was the name of the club? Oh my God! And the next night he played the Ritz Club, and he performed in a G string.
Nice.
And his guitar player looked like the Hulk in his post-apocalyptic shredded clothes.
Oh my God.
And,
Dude, Prince.
And he fucking
what an amazing player.
And this was before his record was out. He fucking blew everybody in New York's mind. He crushed it. Like,
Yeah.
it was like everyone's like, what?
Who is this fucking guy?
Like this little guy,
Tiny little
fucking
guy.
crushing it, like doing shit nobody's ever heard of, and
like a Hendrix and innovator.
yeah,
Serious
like
innovator.
beyond, yeah, like
Yeah.
he.
I love
and-
Prince.
And I've seen him so many times, and that guy, no matter what instrument he gets on, I've watched him go from bass to guitar to drums. I watched him play everything.
Keyboard.
And he never plays a wanking bad note. Like
Yeah.
I never heard him hit a bum note,
Yeah.
sing a bad note, play a bad. I've never there's no bad notes that
Dude,
I
I'll-
ever like. He's one of those guys. I've never seen his
Yeah,
bad
it just
day.
came out of his fingers like that.
I know.
You know, it came
Yeah.
out of his
Like he's
soul
not
like
capable of.
Dude, what an amazing
Amazing.
artist. See, yeah, we got to see all the cool
I
bands.
know, and so the all Adam and the Ants, all the English.
Oh, I love Adam and the
all
Ants.
the English invasion bands came.
Big
the Ritz,
Country.
The Ritz was like
All that
yeah,
shit like
the
that.
big stomping ground.
Dude,
That
what
was
about but prior to that, who I really dug was XTC.
XTC? I've never.
Yeah, that was earlier. Though.
Yeah.
That would have been a little early for you. It would have been kind of like King Crimson-y a little bit after that.
Yeah.
But like XTC, and then you had but then during that same time period, we had it was all the letters. We had ABC,
ABC,
the
right, yeah.
Lexicon of Love, remember
Right,
that?
yeah.
And then, but then you had, but again, you also had weird things like Thomas Dolby, Laurie Anderson,
Duran,
Joe Jackson.
Yeah, Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson. Dude,
got
I had a Joe
I got
Jackson thing the other
I got a
day.
Joe Jackson story, but you
Yeah,
tell
let's
me
hear
your
about
thing.
this. No,
Okay, well, famous rock stars I got to pee next to in clubs.
Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson's one of them. I was seeing King Crimson with Johnny Rotten, Johnny Lydon, and his bandmates. They were in a band called Pill at the time. We went to
Yes.
go see King Crimson with Adrian Belew
Yeah.
playing in Midtown New York, and I'm downstairs peeing, and the guy next to me is Joe Jackson peeing in the next
Dude,
urinal.
I had a Joe
And it's like-
Jackson moment
And
last week.
he had good shoes on. He had like some fancy shoes on stuff.
And this is random. This is an offshoot and random, but similar time frame. Obviously, the Cars, Blondie, all that kind of stuff. But then I later I listened to Marshall Crenshaw the other day. Remember
Yeah,
Marshall Crenshaw?
yeah.
That was that whole sort of like an oversized jacket.
That
The shoes.
Byrne,
David
yeah,
Byrne
yeah.
did that with the big jacket,
Yeah.
and then everybody was wearing the giant jacket.
I know, with the padded
with the giant
shoulder.
padded shoulders. It
I
was
know.
like, okay, this is interesting, but all of those bands, I mean, like the bands we grew up with, all very different. Nobody was trying to sound like anybody else. Everybody was completely unique.
Right.
I mean, for the most part, there might have been like a genre.
Right, but everybody
thing,
still was.
but everybody was unique.
They weren't mimicking each other.
Yeah, they weren't copying each
Right,
other.
right.
And I miss that.
I do. No, that was one of the homogenizations when the machines came into play.
Yeah,
and that was the other thing too. In New York, there, having a sequencer and keyboards and a Linn drum machine, that was like that started changing.
A sampler.
That started
Yeah.
changing the whole game and
Yeah.
watching. So yeah, growing up totally analog, and
Yep.
then some of the digital with instruments, and then eventually digital recording. But I'm so glad I 2-inch machine.
Oh, dude.
My I still have one in storage.
We've been running tape all the time.
I have a machine that Green Day that
Is it a Studer or
a Studer 827 that Green Day recorded their biggest record on.
was
that
it
I rented.
Dookie or
Not
not Dookie?
Not
Maybe
Dookie. Oh my God.
American Idiot.
American Idiot.
Okay.
Ocean Way.
Yeah.
They rented it from me for a month because who ran Ocean Way? What's her name back then?
Clarice.
Clarice
Yeah.
knew I had one.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, they didn't like those old 3M machines. They were too slow.
Yeah.
So Rob, I guess, wanted a
Cavallo,
Studer.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I rented it. So my machine's got some good history.
Nice. Did I ever
Got
tell you
some
the
good-
Green Day story?
No.
So when I first came here in '98, and it had been Ocean Way or whatever, and I had worked at other places and didn't really know, but they had a reputation for they would take the light switches off the wall and they would put sushi into the wall, and they
so
would
it smell.
yeah, but they would do it on the last day
Yeah. Oh my God.
that they were working.
Bad boys.
So they were doing something. I can't remember. I don't even remember what it was. It was in 1999, maybe. I can't remember what it was, but they all walked by and they said, "Oh, thanks so much for everything." And I said, "Oh, yeah, you guys." I said, "You guys are still back tomorrow?" And they went, "No, this is our last day." And I said, "No." I said, "You got another day. You're coming back tomorrow." So that they didn't do that. But I did find a sushi in the wall, dude.
You did?
Don't put sushi. Yeah, I found it once and I learned, and I was like, "Oh no." I said, "Oh no, you're coming back to do some stuff tomorrow." And they were like, "Oh." Billy was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, that." And they were like, "Oh shit."
Well, I think they also. I was working in Studio A, and I think they were in B, and
Pranksters. We don't mind pranksters
well,
to an extent.
Easton had sent them the sports equipment, sent them all this like baseball gear or
Oh
something.
fuck.
And I don't know which one there because it wasn't when it happened, but there was this marble table in the lounge there that probably everybody was doing coke off, from
Oh, yeah.
Stevie Nicks to
Yeah.
every amazing
every
band.
famous artist
Or
ever.
probably did coke off that
Yeah.
thing. And I guess he thought
it
it was
with
a
a
good
bat.
idea to hit it with the baseball bat and
Dude.
destroy a piece of.
Dude, over the course of my career, there's been a couple incidences like that. The names will go unmentioned, but I had to discipline artists for doing things like that.
This is so-
Yeah, I took one artist and put him over my knee and hit him with the piece of wood that he ripped off the Studio 2 wall. I spanked him with it.
No, that Studio 2 wall, we love.
We fixed it. We
I
fixed it.
know.
But it was like, are you kidding me?
That-
Are you
I
kidding
kid
me?
you, These rooms
Hallowed.
are like
Oh, yeah, we're
hallowed.
at East West Studios, by the way. 6,000 Sunset, I call it.
And by
Yeah.
the way, my favorite studios on the planet,
Aw.
and beyond super convenient to where I live.
Yeah,
so.
super close. Super close.
But if I could mimic a room, Studio 2, I would.
Dude, I think we're going to have to do part 2, but we're going to get Peter out to LA during this episode, and then we're going to do a part 2 of his adventures once he's in LA. So 7:02. How long have we been talking? What time is it?
We,
Yeah, okay, we've done like an hour. We usually we're close, but I want to hear we're gonna get you to LA. So
Okay.
so tell me, like,
Oh,
what was the
oh,
impetus?
Okay, so I'm in New York. I become friends through all the stirring it up in New York and all the scene, like Bob Marley's band, the guitar
amazing.
player Al Anderson and Tyrone Down, and the keyboard player. And then I become buds with Joey Ramone and
Oh,
Johnny Lydon and all
Oh,
these
nice.
people, because my friend was working this club and he became friends and was his best friend, and I just
And people were sick of the cold. I don't know.
No. well, there was just like this experience, and so I was like, so I really started getting serious about, like, New York was so distracting because I had friends and all. We were I'm after clubs doing
you're partying.
drugs with
Yeah.
famous people. I could name a few.
Yeah.
They'd probably be okay with it.
Yeah.
But I won't. At 7 a.m, and I'd also had a friend who worked at the Hit Factory, and I'd go in the Hit Factory and
Nice.
John Lennon was working,
Yeah.
like had a floor with, and he'd bring in
Yeah.
his furniture and stuff to make it home, to make it feel homey. And Bruce Springsteen was working on that huge. He recorded like 50 songs for, what was that mega record he did?
I interviewed Toby Scott, and I'm sure he told us about it, but it wouldn't have been.
It was like
I can't believe I just forgot. It's a double album. I can't remember the name of it.
Every amazing song.
Yeah.
He just was like one hit after the other.
Dude, amazing.
He was working there. I mean, there's all these, like, so it was like, and this Hit Factory was right. Jimmy Destri and Blondie, they were in there, and I remember Jimmy Destri yelling out the window. Studio 54 was across the street.
Yeah.
And just
Tom Camuso, who you
Yeah.
know from the Les Paul Foundation, who's
Yeah.
going to be here later. All my friends are named Tom, apparently. Tom Rogers, Tom Camuso. Anyway, he still works with Debbie all the time.
Right.
She just turned 80, and he recorded her like a month ago.
oh, that's so cool.
And she's great.
She's great.
She's fine.
She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can still sing.
Yeah.
Still doing it. Okay, so
So-
you
so, yeah,
you thought you needed to get away.
I thought I needed to get away because it was a great scene and it was literally so much fun. But I'm hanging out with those people that already were doing it, and I was like, it was too much fun just to go out and hang out and
Yeah.
learn from them. I mean, I'm going into David Byrne's recording a record, and Buster Cherry Jones is playing bass on it, and he brings me with him, and I'm hanging out and watching this magic happen, and it's blowing my mind. And it's like,
Any engineers that were like early mentors or people that like
no, that
helped?
that was
You had to do it all on your own.
that was a bummer because I wish I had, in some ways, had a mentor. I mean, I definitely wish I had a mentor.
Did you ever work at a studio as an intern or anything?
I didn't.
Interesting.
And that
you just flew by the seat of your fucking pants,
'cause
huh?
They're a 4-track.
Right.
We learned how to get some great shit out. I mean, I basically figured out how to maximize what I had.
Yeah.
But boy, there was a lot to learn for sure.
Dude, there's so much to learn, and now even more.
So basically, I said, all right, I'm going to come to music school out here, Dick Grove Music School.
Dude, I taught there.
You taught there. Holy shit.
Oh, but it was after that. I taught there from 90. Jerry Steckling, who is
Right.
another engineer and was a teacher there. I taught there from 90 to 94, maybe.
Okay.
When they were in Van Nuys, and then they moved out to DeSoto at
Oh,
one point
shit.
in time. But there was a recording program, and I taught studio etiquette 3 days a week. I know, dude.
Yeah, that's
And
perfect for you.
Dude, it was great. I would just get people to come and speak.
You're a Hoffer teacher, right?
Oh, I don't know about that, but I would just get people to come and speak. I would
Right.
get like Peter Maurer would come, or Vincent Van Hoff. I would get different
yeah.
people to come and speak and talk to the kids. But that's where I met Jerry Finn, who I was married to my first husband, and he was my student. Jerry was only 17, and I lived in this house in Glendale, and I was going through a divorce with my first husband. And I would always take my students to see Funk Attack at that Italian restaurant on Melrose,
Yes.
Fellini's.
Oh, yeah.
Fellini's, right? And so it was called Funk Attack, was this band, and it was the guy that was in like Iron Butterfly and all these other people. Anyway, but it was a funk band. It was like Lee Thornburg and different session players. Anyway, but Jerry was 17, became my roommate because my husband left and I needed to pay rent. And then Andrea, who later married Tom Lord Alge, was also a student there, Andrea Housden. And they were both amazing. And Jerry became a great engineer, as you know, and a great producer. Rest in peace. But he died of natural causes, by the way. Had an aneurysm. But yeah, that was that time period. But the Dick Grove, Dick Grove.
He was a monster.
Unbelievable jazz musician and one of the early schools. I think GIT was around before Musicians Institute. I think it was GIT. But what an amazing musician.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that taught there, unbelievable.
They were great.
Talented musicians.
And we'd have
jazz guys.
Steve Lukather would come in and lecture and just talk about getting peanut butter smeared on it, waking up in a hotel room with peanut butter smeared on his ass, handcuffed.
Yeah, that's kind of shit I talked about in my classes, but but yeah, Dick Grove, interesting, great school.
Yeah, it was great school.
But so like early mid 80s.
86.
Oh
yeah,
wow.
86. Yeah.
Wow. I had just started at Take One, which was where Glenwood is now, where Kendon was, but it was across the breezeway from Red Zone. So my brother had taken it over,
right,
and was we were doing a lot of stuff with like Klink and Richie Zito, people like that. And that was when I was an assistant for about a year, and I did a session with I think I told you this. I did a session with Shel Talmy, and he's blind. He just passed recently, and he was great. But after I did that session, he was super nice. I was a Trident 80B, and I was running the tape machine. And after I did that session, I said to my brother, I go, I don't want to engineer anymore. He goes, why not? And I go, I'm never going to be amazing. And if I can't be amazing, I don't want to do it. Oh. And I go, and that guy's blind. And he's fucking unbelievable. He's fucking unbelievable.
He's crushing it.
He's crushing it. And I'm like, and I suck, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to suck. And I said, I'll help you book though. That was how I did that.
I bet you would have crushed it.
I probably would have been fine. And people always say this, and I'll close this episode with this because we're gonna do a part 2 because you're way too interesting. There's so many more things I want to talk about. But people always ask me this. No one was ever uncool to me because I was a female. Ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Like ever. I find engineers, like most creators, like most musicians, to be super supportive and collaborative and wanting to nurture. And I had nothing but people that were cool to me.
Yeah.
A little bit of tough love every now and then, like you didn't do that right or do it again. We did a little hazing, which I think is probably healthy. Like don't fuck up, like get it right, but care.
Yeah.
Care about what you do.
Yeah.
And I have to say, all the years that I've known you, I would say 110%. You make it look easy, but you're a really good engineer.
Well.
You really are. You're really good.
Thank you. I mean, first of all, thank you. It's an honor for us to be invited into the space with you.
It's a privilege for us to be. Any day above ground is good, but it's a privilege to be here, and I am privileged to run this place. I'm honored to do so. I mean,
every time I get to work here, it's the best place to work, and there's a few studio managers like you that are just so really like made life
cool.
so great for us. No. But you're one of a handful that just really just made it easy for us.
Well, you and what people like you do besides keep us alive is that when an assistant works on a session with you, I know he's going to learn.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know that if you hit a hiccup along the way, you're a pro. Some of the gear is old. Things will happen. But you're a pro, and you'll keep the session going, and then later you'll tell him, like, hey, we could have done this, you should have done that. And always in a nice way, but in a way to further.
Right.
To further the craft, further.
Yeah.
To so people know how to do this.
And when I had run my studio, which obviously is a big can of worms, and we're wrapping up here, but anybody out there, don't take any sort of not even criticism, take any constructive sort of thoughts on making the process more fluid and better.
Yeah.
Don't ever take it personally. Just take it and learn from it.
Absolutely. I always tell the runners and the assistants, I'm like, look, you're going to be sitting in a room with people, and your whole job, besides keeping the session going, is to learn. I said, you'll develop your style by incorporating all the things you learn from different people that you liked. Like, oh, man, that was an unusual mic to put on the piano or whatever. That was cool the way he did that.
Right.
Or learn what not to do, or what didn't work, or what you didn't like,
right.
But that's how you develop your style.
Right.
You know, this is the end of part 1 on Peter McCabe. Well, we're definitely doing part 2 because I want to hear about, you know, Dick Grove. I know about, you know, the brief thing with Baby-O, but I just want people to get more information on what you're doing now, and he's still doing it, okay? And he is for hire, by the way. You know, we're all for hire, okay? You can
That's
call
right,
us up.
right.
You can call us up, and you can pay us
like
to do our thing.
555.
That's right.
We take donations.
You know what? You want to hire Peter? Call me. I'll hook you up. Yeah. But we're going to do a part 2.
All right.
Because I didn't know all the stuff about your New York stuff. And we can go back to that and get more into that, dude. I mean, we should probably stop the recording now because I do want to find out about the doing blow at Studio 54. That must have been so cool, dude.
Oh,
It probably would have been like
God.
Grace Jones. I mean, it must have been some
Everybody.
crazy shit.
Everybody.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah.